Hello everyone, welcome back to Lucky Crit. I'm sorry that it's been a little while since there's been a lot of content on the channel, and especially stuff like this with Fire Emblem Heroes. I've been through kind of a weird past couple months, but we're going to get through it, and we're going to go back to the usual schedule, hopefully, and try to get things more consistent. But with this, I did want to summon on this Halloween banner in Fire Emblem Heroes, with all the brand new stuff here. They also have a rerun of the old banners, of course, as they always tend to do. But I think what's going to be interesting about this is we're definitely going to end up spending our orbs, a good amount of them, on this brand new banner. As you can see, I haven't summoned at all on this yet. But I do also want to then double back and see if we can't get a couple more merges for the Halloween Kagero from last year. I have her at +1 right now. I'm not necessarily looking to +10 her from this. I don't have enough orbs to be able to do that, really, realistically. But if I can get a couple more copies and give myself more of an excuse to put some more dragon flowers and stuff in that character, I'm down for that. As you guys know, I like Kagero. Kagero is one of my favorites. Definitely top tier waifu. But with that said, I'm also going to be answering questions in this video. I've got questions from patrons and also those of you over on the Discord that I'll be going through. Thank you for leaving them, by the way. This way I can kind of put this all into one video, and that way you get both a Q&A and also a Heroes video too, which I have not done in quite a while. But with that said, let's get started here. I do have our tickets, so these first few batches should be a bit cheaper, and I didn't even think about who I'm going to summon for here. The Hector's red, I think. You know, let's talk about the duo characters and heroes first and foremost. I've always hated duos in gacha games, if I'm being honest. I don't know why. It just like two people occupying the same space then begins to look kind of awkward and weird with all the other single units around. Hector pulls it off with the baby Lilina, like I'm kind of okay with that. But with the duo like abilities and stuff that they're bringing in, it just seems so, I guess it's not game breaking, but it just seems to cheese even modes like AR, in my opinion, some of the better modes in the game, and I just don't like that layer of cheese that it now has. And they're kind of, it seems like they're going with the whole, and I shouldn't be surprised, by the way, but it seems like they're going with the whole create the problem and then release some new units with the solution type of deal. They've done that the whole time, but it's so sad at this point. It's like, I'm just tired of them releasing ridiculous mechanics, but they got to get people to summon somehow. So I guess this is the way that they do it. But yeah, so I'm not the biggest fan of duos, but I'm not going to like quit the game or anything over it. I guess for this first batch, I'll just focus on getting our rate up. I do want to take another look. I kind of forgot the colors of everybody in this banner, and maybe consider who we actually want to summon for specifically. I don't really care too much for the Hector-Lilina duo. If we get them, cool. If not, whatever. I guess it would help in AR or something. There's my boy Barst. Anyway, let me know how you guys are doing in Heroes as well. I'd love to know, because it has been such a long time. I would actually like to make just a general Heroes video and kind of show you guys my barracks and everything and kind of what I've been working on and what I've been up to. Because my interest in the game has like waned and increased over time at certain different moments. It's been kind of interesting. I'm not really sure why. It's just that sometimes I get more into it than others. I've been doing pretty good lately. I'm Tier 21 again this week. I've been doing that pretty consistently lately too. We've had some good weeks. I think Legendary Alm was one of the recent ones and stuff. All right, so yeah, we have the Ileana here. You know, I'm not going to be a hypocrite about this. I did say I made a video a little while back about characters, basically the most popular characters that were yet to be added into Heroes, and there were characters that, for all intents and purposes, were likely to end up in the game pretty soon. And in some cases, in most cases, a lot of those characters have been added at this point. We talked about characters like, you know, like Idun or Thune, however you want to pronounce that. Ileana was also on that list as well, and there were a bunch of other ones. Silk is now finally going to make her way into the game, so they're finally like getting through that list of the next most popular characters. I think Jill is definitely going to be coming at some point in the near future. I mean, absolutely. So there's a lot of cool stuff on the way. But in that video, when I was talking about Ileana, I did say, like, I didn't really understand why everybody liked her so much, because she's just, like, hungry all the time. I don't know. She wasn't my favorite in Path of Radiance, but I gotta admit, I do like this Halloween alt for Ileana a lot. I also do like the La Rochelle, too. So, yeah, blue and green, I'm thinking Dozla or Dozla. I think it's Dozla. I always liked that character in Sacred Stones, but he doesn't look that great here, unfortunately, so probably won't try too much with the color list there. We'll probably stick to mostly blue and green. And then we're going to go green with the other banner, too. All right, so let's get back into this. Blue and green. Me likey. But yeah, you know, it's just been kind of a weird time with everything. I do like some of the new features, like the new gardening aspect. I thought that was kind of cool, especially coming off the heels of 3 Houses. I definitely like that a lot. But it doesn't really add very much. I guess it just kind of gives you something to check every single week. I don't know. Then we were scared for a moment there that, or I guess I was scared. I don't know if everybody else was. But a lot of people were scared and nervous that Tap Battle was removed from the game because its files were. And we thought that it wasn't going to come back, that it was going to be replaced by the newer modes. But it does seem like there is going to be a Tap Battle later this month. So I guess what they're going to start doing is probably overriding certain files and stuff every month with app updates and adding it back in and then taking it back out and keeping the file size small, I would assume. Because we are getting to the point where there's a lot of modes and stuff now at this point. Oh, another thing I want to talk about too with that Ileana is her weapon and the fact that they straight up advertised like, hey, if you, we got to find this. Hold on, I want to look at this really quick. I'm sorry to interrupt the summoning, but I got to find it because it was just so, I could not believe what they did with this. Yeah, note, when Spooky Censer Plus is inherited using inherit skill, certain heroes may hold the Censer in an unintended way, such as backwards or over their face. Example. No promise to fix it. No, nothing like that. No little explanation there. Just, hey guys, we're too lazy for this. It looks weird and messed up on other units, and we don't care. Come on, guys. What the heck, Intelligent Systems? Come on. That triggers me on a deep level. You should care. If you're not gonna care about other things, you should at least care that your new gacha characters you add to the game to make people pull for things, especially with such a good weapon as hers that's finally inheritable. You should at least make sure that it looks good with the other stuff so people can summon and mix and match. And I don't like that. I don't like it one bit. All right, let's get to some questions here while I do this. Anything? I almost called her Ishtar. Tail to you. All right, Grandpa Caleb. We're going to start off with the patron questions here because those guys are going to get precedence. Grandpa Caleb asks, if you were to create a Fire Emblem class, what would the general theming be? Role in the army? So at like tank, offensive, magic, healer, support, gender specific, what kind of setting would the class make the most sense in? And if you have a name, what would the name be? And extra credit for skills. I thought about this question long and hard when I was thinking about doing this in general. I wanted to make sure that I had some answers kind of primed for this video. And I really couldn't think of anything because, to be honest, they've done a pretty good job of experimenting with adding new classes and stuff. A good example of that would be like the Kinshi Knight class, basically a flying archer. I thought was pretty cool. And so I was glad to see that mobility finally added to archers because archers have kind of had a bad history about, not being very mobile. But to answer this question, I think I'll go with the kind of generic answer in probably a female melee-oriented class, basically like a female war master, because we didn't get one with 3 Houses, and I thought that was kind of disappointing. And I would still like to see with some of the DLC classes that we could potentially get a class like that, because I think at this moment there's just no point in training a female unit in brawling, maybe as just an added side hand weapon or something like that, but focusing them solely on that, there's no point, and it's kind of sad, and I think that it's a little bit of a waste. And so definitely something like that. What would I call it, or what would it be called? I have no idea. Yeah, no idea. But it would be kind of cool if it gave them some extra strength, because specifically the way that the classes are laid out in 3 Houses, or maybe... Yeah, there's also some restrictions in 3 Houses right now, too, where, like, female units are the only units that can get Darting Blow, because they can become Pegasus Knights, and they get those classes. But everybody can get Death Blow as long as you can become a Brigand. So there's some weird skill restrictions too that could be alleviated. So I'd like to see like the reverse of that happen. But actually female units aren't restricted in that sense. They are restricted. They can't get Hero, but they can get Vantage from Mercenary, I think. So there's definitely some, I'd have to look at the all the classes broken out and figure it out. But I would definitely give it something that they can't get currently. And I know this is a general question. It could speak to any Fire Emblem game, but in this case, I'd rather just fix up and patch some holes in 3 Houses that would be really cool to fix. So a female brawling or, Battlefield's infantry melee specific class. Maybe like brawling and swords would be cool. So it'd be perfect for Catherine, honestly. All right, nothing so far here. We're getting some weird pulls. I got a double Cecilia a minute ago when I was talking. But anyway, thank you for the question, Caleb. Green Panda 21 asks, that's a Baruka. Will you be doing a video with your final thoughts on Fire Emblem Three Houses? What you liked, didn't liked, things that could have been better and or wished could have been in the game. Like a review, but your personal take on it as a whole. Yes, I would love to do that. I still, at this moment, it is currently October 19th. I have not beaten the game yet at this point. I am much farther ahead in the Let's Play than what you guys have seen. There's only 22 episodes right now on YouTube at the time of recording this video. And I probably have enough content to make up to like 50-something episodes. So I'm definitely way far ahead. And I'll answer another question with that too, is that is the Let's Play going to be coming back? So here's what happened, okay? In, what was it, July, I had the greatest month that Lucky Crit has ever had on YouTube. It was incredible. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. Mostly because of the Fire Emblem Three Houses hype that, you know, drove in a lot of new viewers and just did, ooh, there we go. La Rochelle, I'm loving it. McDonald's, okay. I'm sorry. All right, let's see the IV. Minus HP plus res. I don't remember if she has high res, but I'm kind of cool with that. I'm going to mark her with my res heart there. I like it, I like it. All right, so let's finish off this batch. I don't know what my rate was, but it was definitely boosted at some level, so I'll just summon the whole ring here. And I guess we'll focus a little bit more on blues at this point. Unless you want to give me an Ileana right now. Okay, Silas. Not the worst fodder, though. All right, where was I? I was in the middle of something. Okay, so for the Let's Play, when that's going to be coming back, what happened with that? So I had the most successful month ever in July, and then with August, that was, you know, right after the game came out, I was solely focused on pretty much just playing the game and recording Let's Play episodes and putting those out on YouTube. And ever since, probably about a good, like, 8 years or so now at this point, since, like, yeah, probably like 2010. Let's Plays haven't been that popular on YouTube, especially more so with stuff like Fire Emblem. So it's hard to justify usually putting out those videos. In this case, I wasn't really worried about the views of the Let's Play, because most of you guys are not here to watch me play Fire Emblem. There was actually a small dedicated group of you guys that did seem to enjoy it and have been consistently asking me when it's going to come back. So thank you guys for watching. I'm really glad that you enjoyed those videos. But the thing is, I didn't realize the major impact it was going to have on my actual channel as a whole. It was actually killing my channel, because that's all I was doing in August. I like the Nana. I will take that. I might merge her at some point. But yeah, it was killing the channel, and so that was really not good. So I went from like the best month I've ever had to a really, really bad month instantly. So clearly what I need is more of a mix with my content. If I'm going to put out those Let's Play episodes, it's got to be catered around my main releases and stuff like that. You know, some content is better than nothing really, but if all of your videos, what I noticed from August, if all of them were consistently not performing well at all, it was just kind of driving my channel into the ground, not suggesting anything to anybody. The YouTube algorithm was not very pleased with my channel, especially because up to this point, my channel's been pretty successful when it comes to, look at that, jeez. Pretty successful when it comes to videos and stuff, because usually when I pump out a video, it tends to be something a little bit different, a little bit maybe not expected. And so, okay, I'll take the... Okay, bizarre. I'll take it though. I do have a 5-star Racing already. He's a pretty solid supportive unit, so I'll take the merge. But yeah, so I had a pretty good track record of uploading videos that did fairly well, and the algorithm liked that. The algorithm pretty consistently treated my channel pretty well, as long as I kept doing stuff like that. But then with August, with the way that it went, with the Let's Play, I just drove everything into the ground. It's an interesting learning experience, but it feels really bad as a creator to see everything that you've built up kind of begin crumbling, and you know, you feel kind of helpless, like you have to race to fix it pretty much. So I'm going to shift back and focus a little bit more on the typical kind of content that I make. But in this case, with the Let's Play, I'm just going to try to pump out Let's Play episodes around my main releases. So like main video, Let's Play, maybe another main video or side video, Let's Play. As much as I can do that. It might take forever to get through, so I haven't completely decided what I'm going to do with that, but clearly what I was doing before was not working, and it was hurting things, and it wasn't good. So I just need to find a solution for that, but I do want to finish the Let's Play, because I'm always a big talker about that kind of stuff, and I think it's time to have a completed Let's Play on the channel that people can always look back to. So, yeah, we'll do that. And it'll just take some time, so just bear with me, and I'll try to get those episodes out. I might skip more stuff moving forward, but like I said, I easily have, you know, twice the amount of stuff that, compared to what you've seen. I have exactly that and potentially more to put out. So we'll see. And I do have recordings to my reactions to certain things that happen within the story, so I hope you guys are looking forward to that as well. All right, do I feel like I want to switch at this point? Do I want to keep going with this? I'm going to hop over to the other banner briefly, and we're going to go for greens. Worst case scenario, probably greens and colorless with this one. I don't really care too much about the Halloween myrrh. I just pulled myself a snipe from this banner, the Niles, so I don't really care to have another one of those, really. But the main focus is Kagero. Waifu time. Green. No green. Let's go colorless. Yeah, so I'll just figure things out. Bear with me, and we'll get there. Plast, one of my moderators, now has... Ooh, I skipped it, but look at that. I'll take it. Very nice. I think that's my second one. Plus attack. That's very good, of course. I don't remember the IV on my other one, actually. At some point here, I'm probably going to run out of slots, and we'll have to speak of the devil. Look at that. Okay, so let me clean out my barracks really quick here, and then we'll get to that question. I know this is really annoying to do on camera, but for those of you that are kind of curious about what you can send home and not, maybe we can put in a little lesson or some information in here for you guys too. So I'm looking at the IVs right now and kind of judging based on each character whether or not I want them, but I'm full because I got 10 here. These guys I don't need. But I'm looking at the IVs. I'm trying to make sure that they fit. This is actually a pretty good one for Nino, as long as you merged her later. Plus speed Nino would be good, but I'm not trying to build Nino right now. That's not a good one. Plus speed on Frederick, who has like no speed, is not good. Plus defense is good, but I know specifically from looking through my list that I already do have one of those in there. Don't want those. Yeah, okay. And I'm making manuals out of them. It's not quite as good potentially as getting some nice feathers from sending them home, but in this case I can just go through my manuals later, and if I have a million of certain characters I can let them go pretty easily. Yeah, so let's clean out some space here. We'll drop this Ray too. Stoked we finally got Norn in the game. I don't know how I feel about her as a unit just yet. I kind of have to look into it more, but I would be super stoked and excited to plus 10 her. The only problem is that I actually recently, within the past little while, let me look in the normal screen here. I plus 10'd, well, we sort by level, plus 10'd Bo Loki, who has a kind of a similar setup with the whole guard bow type deal. At least that's what I went with her. And she was kind of an interesting generalist and tank that I used for a little bit in AR. She doesn't deal enough damage, and that's kind of her biggest flaw and problem. I could give her a different build, and in fact, I might do that. I've seen some really cool stuff where they gave her the bouquet bow from the new, what's her name? Luis. And so that could be pretty interesting, stuff like that. You can also see my other units here. Recently finished a plus 10 Soren. Felt like I kind of had to because I gave him G-Dual Infantry, and I needed some more variety in there for Arena. I also did Marth because I was really feeling the lack of Falchion characters in Arena to deal with those stupid dragons running all around. But that's pretty much it. That's kind of all I've been working on lately with these characters. Still got Kagero here. I inherited some pretty disgusting stuff onto this Kagero, but that's my girl. What can I say? She's been amazing in Ether Raids as well. Hashtag no regrets with that one. No regrets with that one whatsoever. Okay, so we just sniped the Mia. I kind of feel like maybe it's asking too much to go in and just snipe a Kagero instantly too, but maybe we can do it. Let's see what happens. Oop. Game crash. Sorry about that, but we are now back. So let's hop in here and grab this, hopefully, Kagero from this orb. We have a really, really long question from Plast here that it's actually like more than one question, pretty much. I'm going to answer part of it right now and maybe part of it in the next one because it's so long. But that's a stupid Frederick. Let's get out. Let's go back to the other one. So let's snag ourselves an Eliana from that other one, bare minimum. I'd love to get some more like Halloween Noes and stuff, but there's really not much of a point unless I'm going to plus 10 her or something. I think mine has minus attack though, actually, so it would be good to negate that IV. Yeah, let's get back in here. Focus on blues. Yeah, so Plast, let's read this essay that Plast has sent me here. While discussing with a friend why some things in Fire Emblems don't hit as hard for me and my friend in supports and story as they are meant to, or as they do for other people, I believe I had finally put my finger on it. I believe it's a violation of the rule show, don't tell in regards to things like supports or just stuff that happens off screen. And of course, his explanation keeps going on. I absolutely agree. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's especially the case with Three Houses because there's so much of just like, and I don't mind exposition so much, but that's what it is. It's just them word vomiting their past and what they've done and, you know, where they're coming from to the player. And it's just like, it could be handled better. It would be nice to do more past flashback cutscenes and stuff. I know they can't do that with everything. They'd have to come up with, like, I guess, child art for every single character to be able to do things like that often. But Three Houses does things, it's even worse of an offender, I think, because there's even a lot of stuff that happens within the actual cutscene that the screen just cuts to black to, and you just, you know, see a sword slash or something happen and things like that. And it would be so much better to just have it all on screen instead of being explained to you as you read it. And I know that's a limitation, you know, clearly they were, there's a lot of areas, I think, of Three Houses that kind of show how the team was kind of stretched thin. And there's some things that could have been worked on and, you know, given a little bit more of cleaning up, you know, and that would have made it even better. But, you know, to be honest, Three Houses in and of itself is still kind of a masterpiece. Just looking at everything that they managed to cram into it and all the effort that they put in, I definitely applaud them for it. But yeah, that's definitely something that kind of stinks, is just the exposition dumps like that. So let's continue on with your question here. He mentions the barbecue, of course. What do you think about this potential idea that Fire Emblem suffers from a fundamental violation of that rule? Yep. Do you also believe it in lessening the impact of events like in supports? And if so, do you have any possible ideas for changing or addressing it? I agree with you. I just think showing things more would be better. And I know that's not easy all the time, but a lot of the greatest TV shows show you what's happening. And in fact, then usually the viewer is sitting there begging like, oh my God, did that actually just happen? Is this person actually thinking about doing this or that? Instead of just saying like, I'm going to do this. You are looking at the character, you're watching them, because you have that investment in them, you've seen them in their journey start from one place and get to somewhere else, you feel like you kind of understand that character better. And you don't need the words and the exposition vomit on you to kind of know, that's a Norn, I'm okay with that. But yeah, I agree. I think it could be better. There's a better way of doing it. I also think that's probably why some people don't like supports. Sometimes they're done very, very well, and even the little exposition dumps that you do get aren't too bad. But there's definitely moments where it's kind of bad. It's just vomit. Like, do you remember that time when we were 10 and you pushed me over and this happened? And, you know, it's just like, it'd be cooler to see it. I 100% agree. Let's try to wrap up this question here. I know you sent me an essay, so it's a little hard to do this on the fly. I'm trying not to focus on one thing too much. We're hunting for the Ileana right now. I'm not seeing anything so far, but we'll see. It could be this. You never know. That's an Effie. How do you strike the balance between gameplay and all other aspects when reviewing a video game? That's a great question. I do like how people break it out. For example, if you watch like an IGN review, you know, we can laugh about IGN or whatever, but when you watch like an IGN review, they do usually have it broken out to each area, and I love that. I think that's a great way of looking at it, and then kind of taking it by the sum of all of its parts. I think that's a great way of doing it, especially breaking it out to like, you know, gameplay, music, you know, everything else like that. Just busting it down, I think I kind of think that's the way that you do it, and you do it more fairly. Because otherwise, you just have a general vibe of the game. But when the time comes for me to review Three Houses, I'm definitely going to do a deep dive and talk about, like, even the tiniest nitpicks, because I'd like to get specific about stuff like that. So, yeah. Let's see. Plast with your 50 questions in one. It goes without saying that if a game has bad gameplay, nothing can save it, but when it comes to comparing games that range from having all right to amazing gameplay, everyone is different. I'm definitely visuals over gameplay type of a person, and I think it's because I'm an artist, And so I'm attracted to pretty things, you know, if that makes sense. I worry about the mechanics and the underlying stuff. Ooh, we got the Ileana. Awesome. I'm loving it. I worry about the underlying stuff like mechanics later. And that's kind of, that helps to determine, I think, long-term my interest in things. We got a minus speed plus defense. I actually think that's probably good. She's got 8 speed at base. I don't actually know what the cap is off the top of my head right now. But it does look low compared to everything else, so I'm thinking that's not a bad IV right there. I will take that gladly. All right, and we're going to finish off this batch here because we got the 5-star, so might as well use the bumped up rate. But yeah, mechanics come later for someone like me, and I know that might be weird to say, but that's just how it is. I don't care how many like micro systems your game has in it and things like that. If I learn it, if I am drawn in visually and you got me hooked right there, and the underlying stuff has an interesting gameplay loop enough to hold my attention for a long enough period of time, then you got me. And Fire Emblem does, apparently. So that's kind of my opinion on that. But what else were you asking here? Yeah, and then he talks about here, an example within Fire Emblem for this could be Awakening versus Fate's Conquest, respectively. Awakening, for what a lot of people enjoyed. The story's a little bland with Awakening, but a lot of people love Awakening, so I think that's kind of what he's trying to say there. And Fate's Conquest specifically, Fate's Conquest having a pretty poor story, but incredible gameplay. That's what most people tend to agree with. Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick between those two, I know you're not necessarily asking that question, but for me, man, it's probably Awakening. I gotta admit, it's probably Awakening. The gameplay is definitely fun, but I've always been the kind of person, and it's annoying to an extent, but I've always been the kind of person who is more obsessed with the visuals. So if you've got a piece of armor in a video game that looks really cool, but then you have a really stupid looking piece of armor that's better than it, I have always been the type of person that I'd rather wear the cool looking stuff, even if it's not as good. And I know that makes no sense. It's not the right way, the correct way to play things, the optimal way. But to me, it's like, you're not having fun if you're just picking the best of the best and you don't care about any other aspect like the looks of things. I don't know. It's like, I gotta be me. And so that's me right there. It's not necessarily fully optimized. Yeah, so Awakening, because Fate's Conquest just makes me sad because of the stupid things I do with the story, and, you know, we'll get into Fates another day. All right, so let's finish off your question once and for all. Where do you think the line should be drawn between gameplay and other aspects of video games? I'm different than a lot of people, I think, in that I'm definitely more concerned about the visuals, but there obviously does have to be some level of interesting gameplay and mechanics underneath it. Otherwise, you've just got a pretty-looking husk, you know, a shell. And something without an interesting gameplay loop or a reason to keep coming back is obviously not good. And so it's a tricky line, but I think as long as you have effort put into visuals and you try to, you know, have things look good, at least, you know, I'm kind of on board with that. And, you know, a nice gameplay loop, stuff like that is also good too. And then I said I was going to do this another one, but I'll just finish this paragraph once and for all because I know you've been waiting. What aspects do you often look for in a waifu? Do you have a hierarchy to them? And if so, do they ever change? This can be anything from physical appearance to personality stuff, etc. Man, this is a rough question too. They change in terms of who I'm excited about most at the current moment. Kind of like a crow with a shiny metal object in the grass. But I think that a lot of people are like that with these gacha games because it's always about the shiny new waifu character that comes out. So I'm kind of suckered into it like that, like a lot of people are. But at the end of the day, I've always been pretty consistent about what types of characters and certainly what specific characters are definitely up there for me. So a good example of that, I think, a character that kind of nails it in like all aspects for me is Kagero. She has the looks. I love the way that she looks. I like her curves, obviously. If you've been a fan of the channel, you probably know that at this point. But I also really like the subtle, like cuter things about the character too, like how she paints, and she has an interest in painting, and her paintings don't look so good, but she still does it, and she still likes it. And so there's like little things about the character too that I like. She's kind of like a little bit more subdued, and I appreciate that about her. She's not as like blatantly in-your-face waifu fan service until at least the spring Kagero alt in this game. But, you know, it's Heroes. Everything is kind of jacked up and amped up for more waifu fan service and Heroes. But yeah, so characters like Kagero, definitely the top of the list. A character like Camilla is like probably like right below that. What is with these badges here? We're not getting anything cool. Yeah, so a character like Camilla is definitely like right below that. Camilla, I really like Camilla, and that's a hot topic in the community even to this day, because I know a lot of people just despise the character, and I completely understand why that they would. And there's even some things that I didn't know about Camilla all this time that I've liked her. Things like, you know, there being that cutscene at the end of Fates where Corrin literally just runs up and like knocks into her breasts and falls onto the floor. Like things like that. Like at first I didn't know that cutscene existed. And that cutscene to me shows exactly what they were trying to do with Camilla. And so then I understand why people are so like angry and upset about the blatant fan service and, you know, and the waifu aspects of Camilla. Because that just puts it on full display. It's clear what they're trying to do with her. But as a character, I do like her. I just think ultimately because they try to amp up that fan service like so much, especially with some of her lines in like Fire Emblem Warriors, she does have some cringy lines that you're just like, you know, if your family was around and you were playing that, it'd be very weird and uncomfortable to be hearing her say some of those things. You know, it's just like she goes a little too far with what they're trying to do. So compared to that, like Kagero is not like that. She's got what I like anyway, but it's not as like in your face in terms of the waifu-ness. But I still really like Camilla. It's really hard for me to not like Camilla. I just wish that she was a little bit more toned down. I've always liked Tharja. In fact, she was the waifu character that I S-ranked in Awakening in my main playthrough of that. So I don't really have any regrets with that. They made her a lot prettier in Heroes. You might have noticed. She was kind of more plain looking. And yeah, might as well pop out of here. Let's clean out the barracks. Yeah, she wasn't as good looking before, but she was still pretty. She's still a good looking character. I don't necessarily love the evil aspects of her so much. So with Tharja, she kind of gets a bad rap because of her mostly being sort of evil all the time, trying to curse and hex people, even though she is a dark mage, and that's kind of, it would make sense that she would be into that. But a lot of people give her crap for kind of not being the best mother with Noir, which I could see, and if people don't like her because of that, then I understand. But I also feel like, and it has been a little while since I've seen these support conversations, so bear with me, but I don't think maybe it's not as bad as people were thinking, or, I mean, it was a different version of Tharja too. It was the altered future version of her, basically, but yeah, I don't know. Tharja I've always liked too, for some reason. My tastes are pretty generic and vanilla, to be honest with you. They're not really all that special, but I like what I like. What can I say? What can I say? We got a plus HP and a plus defense. I kind of feel like I'll have to decide between these later. Let's just keep going for now. We had 115 orbs left. Not looking the best so far, but we did get the characters that I kind of wanted with this, so that's pretty cool. I'm a little stoked about that, at least. And we answered that question, sort of. So my hierarchy is obviously like, once again, with the visual stuff, the personality stuff comes secondary to me, of course. But obviously, having the good looks and the good personality, you're at the top of the waifu list, of course. So moving down the waifu list, like, there's a lot of characters that I like for little reason, like Sigrun, I really like. Not my favorite character personality-wise or anything like that, so she's not at, like, the top of my waifu list, but, you know, that's kind of my hierarchy. You know, it's probably similar to what most people would do, but Kagero's probably at the top. If I really like had a gun to me right now and had to decide, it's probably Kagero. But my interest does kind of switch between a bunch of them, you know what I mean? And Loki's pretty up there too, I would say, of course. Of course. I have a certain type, if you've managed to notice up to this point. I'm going to just keep backing out here because not seeing any greens. I know we're kind of not summoning optimally at this point, but it would be great to just snag one Kagero and call it a day here. And then we'll move on to the next question. We have a Nino here. Noel asks, what's your favorite type of video you enjoy making? What kind of video gets the most views? How do you see your channel in the future? This is a great question. Thank you, Noel. Yeah, this is It's a tough question. The videos that get the most views are easily the most meta stuff. The stuff that people would like think about or like want to know the answer to if you put it in the title. And I kind of hate that because, you know, it's just so almost predictable at this point that that's kind of like the new thing on YouTube. And it's been like that for a couple years now, you know, like top 5 reasons why you shouldn't like X character or like things like that are kind of stuff like that draws people in with the title like that. Cause then you're wondering like, what are these things that are like, what is it that I shouldn't like about this or whatever. And so it's the meta stuff that really does the best. What's my favorite type of video that I enjoy making though? I do really like doing these guides. I've always done guides ever since 2017 with Fire Emblem Echoes. That's always been a part of the channel. And I do really like doing them, but guides are stressful in their own way because I hate when I leave something out or when I get a little detail here or there wrong. Like, it really bothers you as a creator, especially when you get a bunch of comments talking about it. You're just like, oh, it makes you want to take down the video, fix it, and then put it back up later. And I've done that before. I'm sure some of you guys might have even noticed in some moments. But the problem is I'm a one-man army over here. Like, some other creators have people review their scripts or help them write X thing or do this and that. I do everything. And that doesn't necessarily make it better, but it just kind of means that it's easier for me to miss little things every now and again. I don't really know why I haven't like created a script proofing team or things like that. I don't know. It's like, I guess, you know, as much as it is kind of one of the 7 deadly sins, it's more prideful to me that Lucky Crit is just solely me doing it all. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing like that. Because I also feel like if I had people review my scripts and stuff, like, I don't think I'd really be able to pay people to do that. And so I'm kind of wasting people's time for no reason. And I definitely don't like doing that. And I would feel bad that people are helping and contributing to me and they don't really, I'm not really giving them anything back for that. Even like with my moderators on Discord, I feel bad sometimes because they don't really like have like quotas. And, you know, I'm not harsh with things like that, but I give them the responsibility, and with that responsibility, I feel bad because they probably feel like, hey, I gotta be looking around, seeing if anybody's breaking rules and stuff like that, and I don't pay them. And so to me, that's like people are doing stuff for me for free, and they're not getting what they're worth out of it. And so I don't really like that. So that's another reason why it's been kind of tough for me to add more people to the team. At some point, I'll probably hire an editor to help me get content out quicker. But at the same time, like, I don't know, there's a weird relationship with creators and editors and stuff too that I just don't know that I want to mess with. Like, what's with the racins? Jeez. Guess I'm plus 10ing this guy eventually. It's like, I don't know, like, there's a part of me that if I had an editor, I would want somebody that has nothing to do with the Fire Emblem community. You know, maybe it's not bad because it's like bring someone on under your wing and they kind of learn from you and you have them do stuff for you. I don't know, it's a weird relationship and I just don't know that I want that. And then a lot of times, you know, eventually that editor will jump off and use their newfound, I guess, clout that they get from being with that person, especially if their name's advertised in the videos and stuff like that. And then they'll go off and do their own thing. It's just a weird, I've just never wanted to dive into that for whatever reason. But eventually I think I should because I'd be able to make a lot more content and get more out of things. So, all right, we're just going to keep backing out here. I want some greens. What's the rate? I should be looking at the rates. I'm sorry, guys. 3.75%. Oh, we're not getting any greens. I'm getting a little screwed here. Maybe I'll hop back to the other one really quick and summon there. Most of these orbs were free-to-play orbs. This is what I've saved up over the past little while. I had some moments where I summoned on some banners. I was tempted. So it's not like exactly the entire past couple months worth of orbs, but it's mostly that. And I did buy a little bit of orbs to get me up to 300 for this video. That's a Setsuno. We're going to switch. I'm going to go back to the other one for a moment here. And at this point, what do I want? The Ileana is such good fodder because of her weapon, but I also hate it because it's that weapon and it blocks people's faces and looks terrible on stuff. And so it's like, I don't even want it. I don't even know what to summon here. But we'll just see what comes of it. But yeah, so my favorite type of video that I would enjoy making, I don't know, it's, oh, look at that. I'll take it, I guess. All right, I'm not going to complain about that. Nice. Very nice. I should have actually looked at the rate, though, too, at first. That also seems like a pretty good IV.
Father?
Should I have clicked that? I don't know if I should have clicked that right now. Let's get out of that. Let's get back. Okay, I now have one of the dreaded cringe units. Because I hate duo units, but it's okay. Whatever. I'll be able to use them in Cheese AR or something now. Yeah, it's tough, because with any type of video, there's always challenges that you have to face when it comes to making the video. So like I said, with the other one, I hate getting information wrong, but I do at the same time, I like deep diving into stuff and learning more about it because it helps me, myself. I learn more about stuff when I make some of those guides, especially when it comes to certain characters, and especially figuring out, like, top 3 picks, you know, for each character is really helpful. And that's going to be really good information for future playthroughs of, like, 3 Houses, for example, knowing, like, kind of what direction to take certain characters and why. So I like doing those type of videos, and I kind of feel like ultimately that's where I've been the most successful with the channel, and stuff like that. But what's my favorite type of video that I enjoy making? I would like to do more content where I, like, go out in the real world and do some kind of Fire Emblem related stuff, something like that. But those are challenging to make. Like, that's not easy. I can't just sit here and click a record button and talk to my camera. So in some ways, it's like a love-hate relationship with a lot of this type of stuff. But I'll just say guides first and foremost, because of that good relationship. The worst part about the guides is they take forever to make if you want to get it right. And then you'll always have a little thing here or there that you didn't include that maybe would have been nice to include. And so you'll get comments time to time, like from people like that, and saying like, hey, why didn't you talk about this? Why didn't you include this? And then you'll get the other comments that are like, well, you said it happened in chapter 11, but actually it happens in the conversation before chapter 11. And you're just like, ugh, you know, sometimes it stinks. There are negative aspects to being a creator online. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of positive and great aspects too, but it's certainly not without its challenges and shortcomings. But I'll say guides, because I think it helps me the most, and I think it helps other people the most, those types of videos, and that's what I like. How do I see my channel in the future? That's a really tough question, because Lucky Crit has changed a lot over the course of its run. I want more variety, though. I want to keep their variety going. I want to bring back Heroes videos like this when I can, because I'm still playing the game, so... Okay. Okay. Does he have any good fodder? That's interesting. That's a plus attack. Might be going with that. I think... Does he have the attack boon, too, that's like +4? Or should I say asset? The super asset. Disencounter. Odd follow-up is inheritable. Yeah, we'll have to look into that. That one's a little inconsistent. I don't know that I'd actually like want to give that to somebody. DC. I'm honestly kind of bored of DC at this point. I've had a lot of Hectors to give to people. I've been fortunate in that aspect. It's not the most exciting stuff there, but don't get me wrong. I'm grateful. That was a cool pull. A double batch of duo Hectors. A duo. Very nice. Now, can we get a Kagero to wrap this up? That would be amazing. That's how we're going to spend the rest of this video. But yeah, that answers the question. The channel in the future, I just want more variety, and there's so many videos that I've wanted to make over the years that I have not made. So I'd like to get back to that. I have a whole list of suggestions that people had given me a long time ago of content to work on. And I like getting suggestions from people, but I feel bad because when they suggest it, it doesn't always come to be. Even if I want to make that video, it just doesn't always happen. There's no set schedule. It's usually just like what I'm inspired to make the most in that moment, what I feel is the most important thing for me to work on and get out there. And, you know, time stuff happens, of course. Sometimes there's like news, so it's time sensitive to make that content. But yeah, I want to keep things going, have them be more consistent, and I don't know, like I like the good variety of the channel. I don't know how other people necessarily feel about that, but I'd like to keep that going because I hate to only be known for like one specific thing, because that really hurts after a while. Like when the creator wants to then branch out or try something else, it kind of stinks and it hurts when either the viewership is not there or, you know, people stop tuning in if you keep doing something different that they're not there for. For example, the Let's Play stuff. Like nobody was subscribed to my channel for Let's Plays because I didn't really do them. until this point. I have a Fates Let's Play that I started on the channel that I never finished. It'd be cool to go back to at some point, but I'm honestly not thrilled about that idea because it was really hurting the channel before. So I just need to come up with a better way of planning things out and having a better, more varied upload schedule to keep things rolling properly. But yeah, so we'll see. I'm excited to keep doing Lucky Crit stuff. I think I'm at the point now where it's time for me to find my next position, my next job. So there might be periods of time with less content again, but that's life, you know. It's not... YouTube is still not at the point where I can just only do this and be able to support myself and, you know, have a house and live on my own. I'm very, very grateful for the money that YouTube does bring in, and it's more than I think some people would probably have ever imagined if they were just doing this as a hobby. And so that's really cool, that aspect of it. I do put long hours into what I do with YouTube too, though. I have been very rude to my body, and I've had a terrible sleep schedule for a very long time. For example, last night I went to bed at like 5 in the morning. Like really, really stupid stuff is what I do to myself, and I just need to stop doing that. There's no point. It's just hurting me long term, and it's not good. But that's what happens when you have your own business, basically, and this is your job. You put in long hours because you want it to succeed, and you want to put, you know, your best foot forward. But there's no stopping point. There's no like 5 p.m. clock out, go home, stop doing this, you know? And with YouTube, it's tough too because you'll get comments on your phone, and sometimes you want to respond to those, and, you know, Twitter, and you really lose a lot of time messing around with stuff like this. You have so many different aspects to manage and juggle, and it gets tough. But yeah, so I do think it's time, though, for me to find the next thing. Hopefully at some point it would be really cool if YouTube eventually did become something where I could live off of it. But I think I'm going to have my younger brother with me in the future, and so I need to make sure that I am stable enough to be able to support him with me as well. So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, let's move on to, as we finish up here, I might have time for one more question or two from you guys on the Discord. If you want to leave questions for me, by the way, to see in future videos, join the Lucky Crit Discord server, link in the description down below, and there is an Ask Stevie channel. Just post a question in there. If it's really, really stupid, my mods will probably delete it, but, you know, make it a decent question. If it's funny to an extent, I'll probably answer it. But if you are posting like 5 troll questions in there a day, or you ask what broccoli is my favorite, or whatever, stuff like that, it's like, that doesn't... Where does that fit in the video? I don't know how to use that. Revin, the Flying Dutchman, asks, who is your favorite, or who is your number 1 most wanted character for Smash, and why? And those of you who follow me on Twitter probably know the answer to this question. It's Isaac from Golden Sun. And that is because I just happen to love Golden Sun. I grew up with those games, and that, in some sense, it's almost like baby's first RPG, if that makes sense, because they're not really difficult games. Any like 12-year-old kid could probably get into it and really love it and be able to beat it, you know, with some time and effort. And the story is not overtly complex or anything like that, but I really love Golden Sun. It just left such an impact on me, and it definitely did for a lot of people too. You could see that my What Happened at Golden Sun video is one of the most popular videos that I've ever done on Lucky Crit, and that has nothing to do with my usual content at all. But I do like doing those videos every now and again, talking about old games and old series that I really liked. And that part of the channel was always there from day one. I always knew that I wanted to do that. It's just that those videos take so much time and effort that I don't really do them very often. But there's other games that I'd love to talk about with that too. Future episodes of that, I'm sure, will end up including Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Oh, I love those games. A lot of people like the original on PlayStation, but I grew up with the Game Boy Advance and the DS second game, Final Fantasy Tactics A2. Those are great games. I love those. Yggdra Union is another one that I really like and would love to talk about on that. Riviera, The Promised Land. You can kind of see where I'm going with those, I think, if you're familiar with those games. But Golden Era Game Boy Advance games, I love them. I love them. Yeah, Isaac and Smash. They took him out. He wasn't an assist trophy anymore in, the 3DS and Wii one. And now he's back, and they just made him an assist again. And that's the most mind-boggling thing to me. I don't know why they did that. I know he's another sword person, but they could focus more on his synergy abilities as a character, and I think he could have a pretty cool moveset. But yeah, he's definitely... I just want Golden Sun to be revived. And I don't even know if it's Nintendo's fault necessarily, because the Takahashi brothers who made Golden Sun and the Camelot team have been doing a lot of the Mario sports games. And so that's kind of been like their sole focus over the past handful of years. And that's kind of all they're doing at this point. And it stinks. And it might even be them that's stopping it from happening. So maybe they don't, I don't know, maybe they don't want them to Smash. I have no idea. But yeah, so that's the answer to that. Let's find another good question here. Agent 150 asks, can you fight with a sword in real life? Have you ever considered it? It's fun. Here, hold on a second. This is one of those, you know, crappy. I bought this at the mall, okay? I was like, I don't know, 16 or something. It was cool. It was in one of those like Japanese gift shop type deals. It came with its, you know, little wall mount. No, I don't use the sword. It just sits here and I guess looks cool. It's kind of blunt. I accidentally cut my brother's fingers at one point with it. So you do have to be careful with it, but yeah, there's I bet you I created some interesting screen caps there that you guys will probably use for something, but there you go. There's some history there. Let's put this away. I guess I always thought it would be cool when I was younger to play with that and like learn and become good with using swords, but there's just no practical reason why I would ever spend time doing that at this point. So probably not. I've kind of outgrown that edgelord phase. All right, cleaning out Barracks here. Don't need to do too much. Just do this batch. Man, hitting cap though, hitting cap. Might be the final batch. Can we do it? Green. We got a green. Let's go. Kagura. No, it's not. All right, we do have 5 orbs, which means one more batch, technically. And that's what I'm going to do. What's the rate? 4.25%. Ooh. Let's go. Give me a green. Okay, I was a little scared that it was going to be like an all green batch because then I would have no choice but to probably buy some orbs because it would haunt me. Can we do it? Kagura. Bowie. Not Kagura. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. We got some interesting pulls. Let's review really quick here. That's going to be it, though. I got 0 orbs left, and I'm not going to buy any more at this point. That rate is jacked up, though, so while I play the game over the next 23 days, I'll probably come back to this and try to snag another Kagura out of there. Let me look at sort by rarity here and go down to green. Yeah, I've got her at +1. I really like this character, Kagura in general, but also this unit is pretty interesting. This isn't the best build on her or anything. I just was kind of playing around a little bit. It's pretty standard, but yeah, that's that. I just happen to like her, and so if I can get extra copies of her, I definitely would not mind that. But yeah, let's look at what we got here today. So we managed to pull a nice new Halloween La Rochelle. We got a 5-star Racing. We got the Halloween Mia from last year, which is pretty interesting. I do have one already. I might end up merging them though, because this is a plus attack. And I think I did invest in the other one already, so I'll have to look at that. We managed to get ourselves the Ileana, which is pretty cool. And then the double duo Hectors. Pretty nice. I can't really complain about that. In terms of orbs per character, let's see. We got 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we got 6 today. Yeah, we got about 1 in 50. I think those odds are actually pretty good. I think it's usually about 1 in 80 for a 5-star. I could be mistaken, but that's kind of what I'm remembering from the earlier days of Fire Emblem Heroes in terms of like how many orbs the orb cost for each thing. So that's pretty good, actually. That's not bad. We did pretty well here. So no regrets, no ragrets. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I know this is probably really weird with me kind of like ranting and talking the whole time through this. But thank you so much for submitting questions. Like I said, if you want to submit any more questions for me, be sure to do so on the Discord server. I love having them all nice and neat in one little spot for myself. Makes it very easy to do videos like this one. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I wish you good luck on your pulls in Fire Emblem Heroes. And definitely be sure to let me know what your favorite aspects of Fire Emblem Heroes are right now. What's keeping you playing the game? I think that's kind of an interesting question, especially for myself at this point. So maybe we'll explore that in the future. But for now, let me know what it is in the comment section down below. I look forward to seeing you very soon. I'm going to have more teacher's guides and stuff coming out very soon as well. Thank you so much for always tuning in. I love you guys. You guys help to keep this channel going, and I'm super, super grateful for that. So thank you so much, and I'll see you later.